deconstruction process is not an easy one if you come through quite theological background and you have set pattern of beliefs. You know, obviously I came from an evangelical background, developed into charismatic, and then sort of moving on into sort of a more of a mystical thing. It's like this was a journey that I was just walking. I didn't really know where I was going when I started, you know, and I just carried on walking it out. But the deconstruction was such that most of the time it was really easy just to, oh yeah, why did I ever believe that in the first place? That was most of my reaction to the things that God was challenging me about. Oh yeah, that's so obvious, but I couldn't see it. You know, there were a few things that I thought, oh, this is going to get me into a lot of hassle with people if I go down this route. But very quickly, it's like, oh, well, okay, that's okay. You know, I'm just going to have to accept that's what's going to happen. If it happens, that's fine. You know, so for most of it, it was my heart was already attuned to what my mind later would have to face. And that was all in the garden of the heart. You know, it was all there in the garden, in the lakar, in the I want you for my own, that prepared me to then take me into the next process, which was the dance floor and the entwining and becoming one there in an embrace, in an intimacy. And as God danced me around, it was revealing my identity to me and revealing how that was my destiny was to be. You know, and I didn't know what was going on, and I was just dancing around. And sometimes it seemed like we moved into this area of light and it was like, whoa, this is amazing. And sometimes we went into an area of dark and it was like it revealing areas in me that were unknown and I couldn't connect to because they had no illumination on them. Now, I think, well, why would God take you in the dark? Because you're not ready for what is there yet. They're the things that where it says about that God has hidden things for us to discover. And some things there were illumination and it was amazing, and other things there was mystery, you know, and it was a mystery which I wasn't ready yet to enter into. But the experience prepared me for what was to come, you know. So it was almost like I am receiving mystery about who I am and what my destiny is that I'm not yet, let's say my mind is not yet capable of taking it in, but something in my spirit connected to it that then when came the next stage, because then we moved from the dance floor and the entwining to the soaking room, which was the place of now now the preparation is here, whether it's being soaked and cleansed and washed and prepared or purified, or engaging the altar of fire and the fire consuming everything. You know, there are different ways of viewing that process, and both of them were true for me. In that place, I was motivated to go through that process by what had happened in the previous two places. So wasn't resistant, but you know, to initially, you know, because there was this invitation to participate. But what God was doing was getting me to the point where I would be able to totally surrender. So that soaking room ended up into the dark cloud experience where I had to come to the end of my soul. My soul could not go any further into the mysteries that were revealed, you know, on the dance floor. I couldn't go any further until my soul and spirit were separated and reintegrated, because my soul was still had a measure of control, but also motivation, in that I needed to validate my identity by doing things. Well, that was not going to work. because everything about who you are is about a state of being, not a state of doing. So I had to go through the dark cloud experience and come to the point of surrender. Jesus separating my soul, spirit, the thoughts and intentions of my heart, you know, bone marrow, the sort of the source of my life was in him, not in myself. All of that needed dealing with. He dealt with it over a 4-month period of quite intense emotional pain. It was pain for me, my soul, because my soul had to recognize what it was like independently of spirit and God, you know, and I didn't like it, you know, but, you know, God allowed me to voice my feelings and emotions and everything else to come to the point where, hands up, I give up. Do what you need to do. If you enjoy these videos, would you please take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe? It really does help. Thank you very much.